fuck around, I fuck around. Yeah, fuck around, round, round, I fuck around. I fuck around, round, 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 I fuck around. Fuck around, round, round, I fuck around. Fuck around, round, round, I fuck around.
So I'm in Southbound Records, and I was just happy to see that they had all the vinyl of the stuff that we're talking about. So this is great. It's good to see.
That's weird.
Records are making.
I told him I did not want that stuff sold in New Zealand.
There you go. Fantastic. So congratulations on Working with God.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
In the making. Yep. So now the one thing I've noticed, and nobody seems to know how many Melvins albums there are. In all the reviews and write-ups, I said it's anywhere from 24 to 33 of them. Any idea?
Depends on what you count as an album.
Yeah, these days it could be anything.
Yeah, I think it's north of 30 personally. I haven't counted in a while, so.
All right, well, we'll sort it out. So give me the lowdown on Working with God. When was it recorded, and what were the circumstances around it?
Well, it's with the original drummer and
right.
Mike, and with Dale, our normal drummer, playing bass. So
right.
As close as we can get to the original lineup.
Yep.
And Dale's still the new guy because he's only been in the band since '84.
Yeah. He's the Ron Wood of the band, huh?
That's right. Always the new guy. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, we wanted to do something with Mike. And so we released some demos a long time ago that we recorded with him in '83. And then he suggested years and years ago, like 7 years ago, we should write some new songs with this. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Why not?
He lives in Washington State, which is probably 1,500 plus miles from where we are in Los Angeles. So I would write songs that I figured he could play. And then he would fly down on a Thursday night after his work. And then we would record Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then he would fly home.
Right.
Because he's a union machinist. So he has an actual job.
He's got an actual job. Jesus. Yeah. People still had those anymore.
Yeah. We did that a couple of times, and then we had the record. And then
there you go. So when the band is in this configuration with Dale on bass and Mike back in behind the drum set, does it change the way you guys think about how you're making the music, especially for you, because you're kind of the guy who's still doing the same thing all the time?
Yeah, I had to write songs that I knew those guys could play, because Mike is not as good a drummer as Dale.
Okay.
And Dale is not as good a bass player as our normal guy, Steven.
Right.
So I had to write songs that I knew that they could handle, and still make them good, not just write Louie riffs over and over,
Right.
And so that was good. It was a good thing to do. It was fun.
Excellent. And I mean, you listen to Negative No-No, which is the second track on it. I mean, it's still got that sound, I mean, there's no mistaking it.
Yeah, Mike would just come down and he was a trooper. We'd have the songs and he would sit down and just work his way through them.
Very, very cool.
And it was great. It's a really, really fun way to do it. I mean, it's not as fun as jamming with the whole band for a while and coming up with songs, but it's a way to do it. We have no other choice.
Right.
And it works. I think the record came out really good and really happy with it. And but yeah, Negative No-No is one of my favorites on there. That's a weird one, I like it. I knew I wanted to put some kind of sandwich in the middle of it. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I think I read somewhere where you described the album as defiantly sophomoric.
Yeah, that's right. Something like that. 8th grade humor.
Well, definitely with that Beach Boys cover kicking it off. I Get Around, which is now I Fuck Around.
That's right.
Those fuckers and me are getting fucking known. Yeah, the fuckheads know, so fucking leave us alone. I fuck around, round, round, round. I fuck around, fuck around, round, round. I fuck around, fuck around, round, round. I fuck around.
Do you have to get clearance from Brian?
And we're still waiting for that. These bands give Weird Al clearance. Why wouldn't they give us?
Why not? Indeed. Yeah. Actually, I think, well, a couple of my, you nailed a couple of my favorite songs. The Harry Nilsson, You're Breaking My Heart is a classic.
Breaking my heart, you tear it apart, so fuck you. You're kicking my ass, you're breaking my glass, so fuck you. You won't move and lose, run down the track, so fuck you. I'm going insane, there's no one to blame, so fuck you.
Because I'm of an age where I bought that record when I was a teenager. So it was like, oh yeah.
Well, we always liked his stuff a great deal, and he's underappreciated, I think.
Yeah.
And that song especially was aimed at his ex-wife, I believe.
Oh yeah. Well, that makes sense.
And so, at least according to the documentary about Harry, you know.
Yeah.
But Harry was a strange guy, and I'm happy to put that on there. A lot of people think, which is weird to me, because you know I go through life thinking everyone is on the same page as me, and
Right.
a lot of people think we wrote that song, and I'm sitting there thinking, I wish.
Yeah, right. That's from Son of a Schmielson. Yeah.
I'll take half of that in cash, please. You know, writing that.
And another of my favorites is the old Spaniels tune, Good Night, Sweetheart, the doo-wop tune. We close it out. I couldn't believe it. Like,
Yeah,
where did that come from?
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We hate to leave you, but we really must say good night, sweetheart. Good night.
Well, we always wanted to do. We've done that in our live shows as an encore, and so we're big fans of the cover band Sha Na Na. So
Oh,
they
yeah.
used to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where we heard it first. You know, probably 40 years ago, and then we would sing it in sound checks and we'd sing it at live shows sometimes. And so we were like, we got to record that. So it took a long time. Same with Fuck Around. I would do that in sound check. We would fuck around with that. You know.
Yep.
Round, fuck around, I fuck around. You know, it's funny. That's hilarious.
I never
Yeah,
thought of
we-
it, but it makes perfect sense now.
Yeah, well, that song actually took longer than any other song to record on that record because we had to get all the vocals right and get, you know, that took a long. When people think, oh, they're just messing around with it. No, actually, that was a lot of work.
Right.
I generally don't want to do that much work for a joke. You know?
Right. So getting to your own songs, I see there's one called Hot Fish on there that apparently you had written for Flipper originally. Is that right?
Yeah, we recorded that with Flipper. Trevor Dunn and I wrote that.
Right.
And then we did a version with Flipper with Trevor playing bass. And then we re-recorded everything. And I added guitar and I don't think I redid the vocals. I might add a little bit more vocals. We just did a different version of it for this record. So it's two different versions. But yeah, we originally wrote that for Flipper. But, you know, it was on a 12-inch EP that was limited. And it was me and Dale, Trevor, and Steve DePace from Flipper, and the guitar player. So,
right. Yep.
You know, it wasn't going to go anywhere else, and I doubt Flipper's ever going to record it. So we were like, we'll put it on this record. So they're not on it. So
Gotcha.
there is a version out there in the world that they are on. So.
Right.
Ted Falcone is one of my favorite guitar players.
Oh, okay. Very cool. So with the lockdown and the COVID and everything else that's going on in the States and as a matter of fact, everywhere, what's it been like to try and be in a band at this point?
Very disturbing. And I had a plans for last year where I did a solo album, acoustic album with Trevor actually. And we had planned on touring that from May until November. The record came out really good, and it just kind of went nowhere because I wasn't able to promote it. So,
Right.
So our plan was that we were going to do that. I was going to do that record was come out in May. I was going to hit the road. We were going to do the whole world touring, and then come back. And at the end of the year, probably at the end of November, this record, Working with God, would come out.
Right.
And then we'd have a new Melvins album out, and then we would tour in the spring, ready to go. Well, my record got pushed back until August, where we waited to see if actually anything would open up, and it didn't. And then this record got pushed all the way back to February. So it is just a mess. I was really bummed because I really, really, really liked the record that I did before this.
Right.
And it just
That'd
nothing.
be frustrating. Yeah.
Very frustrating. I'm a very discouraged fellow at the moment. We have some other stuff recorded that people are going to be surprised by, I think,
Oh, good.
coming up. And then this record, which I'm very happy about it. But I think we'll do I think I want to do another Melvins 1983 record this time, not wait 5 years. You know?
Cool. Yeah. Why not? Well, the good thing is people at least have more time to listen to the music. So instead of running around and, they're out mostly working from home, they're stuck in their little caves, whatever. So they can't go to gigs. So might as well throw something on the turntable and see what happens, huh? Yeah,
I've been spending a lot of time outside as much as possible with physical activity, exercising and playing golf and stuff like that. Because sitting indoors, especially in Southern California, I'll blow my brains out.
Yeah. I hear you. And so there are 2 reissues that came out the same day. What can you tell me about why have you chosen these 2 out of the multitude of Melvin's catalog to put out?
Well, we had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
The Hustle and Takeover had never been on its own record. It was on originally we took each song and put them on their own 7-inch.
Right.
So with a B-side as well, it was the only way you could get the vinyl, and now it's all on one record. So that's the difference.
Well, that's pretty cool. And then
Glue Porch Treatments, I think, we've done a couple versions of Glue Porch, but these ones come with a cool booklet where I write liner notes about the whole thing.
Right.
Both of them do. So
when you see your picture from back in the day, what do you think of?
I had short hair because I had to actually have a job.
What were you doing?
I was cooking pizzas.
Nice one. Well, that's not bad. It's not a bad way to go.
Well, the thing about when you're broke and don't have any, nothing, working in a restaurant, at least you're guaranteed one meal a day.
Yeah, there you go. And pizza's a good way to go. It stays with you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's the last job I actually had.
Really?
Was cooking pizzas. I cooked them in Washington, and we moved to San Francisco, and then I had the same kind of job until late 1988, and then I had a job. So we were making a living with this weird way since before the grunge explosion. So
right.
A lot of people think that this is all as a result of that. It's like, no, actually we were doing okay before it. Especially in a city like San Francisco, which isn't cheap. We got our first royalty check from the Ozma record, and I think me and Dale had about $3,000 or $4,000 each.
Right.
The most money we'd ever had.
Right. I love it.
Lives.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd ever even had $1,000 accumulate, in one go.
Right.
And so then our joke was, look, we're thousandaires.
Well, why not? That's pretty cool. So was there ever any thought of throwing in the towel and going, well, there's got to be a better way to make a living than this?
I've been discouraged a bunch of times with a wide variety of things in the band. But usually that was as a result of members that were in the band. And once I got rid of those members, then things were fine. Right. Maybe I don't want to stop, and it's all good. But it's never about music. It's always about some personal issue.
Right.
Whether it's extracurricular activities in the drug and alcohol department, or
right.
I just can't stand them because they're assholes or whatever.
There you go.
It pushes you to a point where you want to quit, and you realize, no, that's not really what the problem is. Because with me and Dale, I don't think that in the time we've been a band, we've ever had any arguments.
Right.
About, nothing big.
Right.
Nothing. We don't really disagree on anything, hardly. He trusts me in a lot of ways. I trust him too. Musically, it works really well. And there's no other bands that are doing what we're doing, which is like, we have a wide variety of things we can do, and we view the band as a vehicle for lots of stuff.
Yeah.
We do limited edition EPs all the time. I think we had 5 of them come out in the pandemic, plus this album, plus my solo record.
Right.
And then people, well, what have you been doing? It's like, nothing.
Yeah, right. It's got to
We've
drive
been
you
working the
crazy.
whole time. And then we did 2 live streaming things that came out, and then
Right.
we have another one coming out in April. So.
Oh, great. And what are
Yeah.
those like for a band like you guys? I mean, you must, you're used to playing in sweaty, beer-soaked halls, and now it's like digital.
Now we do a sweaty beer-soaked rehearsal studio.
Oh, good. Well, at least there's something.
We did a really great job with this guy named Jesse Nyman. They came out really good. They're more, we call it Melvins TV. We did 2 of them, New Year's Eve and Valentine's Day.
Right.
And they're like about a little 70 minutes long. It's like 5 or 6 songs with an opening band. And then we also do interviews where we interview each other as opposed to interview. So it's more like you're just hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Each of us do talk, and then we film other crazy stuff. We wanted to make it more like a TV show as opposed to like a regular streaming event, which I think are extremely boring.
Right. Yeah.
Hideously boring. So I didn't want anything to do with that.
Right.
And, some people are into it. We got a really positive response from them. It's a hell of a lot of work.
Right.
You
Right.
gotta film it, you gotta record it. We have our own studio in LA, so we did it all there. And we're really good with figuring out how to, get good camera stuff without much equipment, make it look really amazing. And
It is amazing what you can do with technology these days. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, as long as you're creative with it.
Yeah.
And I'm an amateur photographer myself, so I know what looks good, how a camera works, and that kind of stuff. And just recently, like in the last year and a half, I finally have stuff on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
I never had before, but it's all pictures of, I'm behind the camera, I'm not in front of it.
Right. Right. What do you like to photograph?
Oh, I'm a street photographer.
Oh, okay.
And I take lots and lots of pictures of my bandmates. So because you're hanging around them all the time.
Hey, excellent. So are you itching to get back on the road though? Does it feel like it's going to happen? Yeah.
I'm really excited about that, but I don't know when. I'm guessing it's going to be at least another year.
Sure. Yeah.
Before things open up. I mean, most pandemics, I'm certainly no expert and I'm no scientist, but I think most pandemics that what I've read take about 2 years with or without a vaccine, Well,
so there you go.
Things to get semi back to normal, which it's about what this is going to be like.
Right.
The problem I have with the vaccine here is that they're not rolling it out in a way that seems reasonable. I don't know how they're figuring this out. It just seems crazy to me. If you want the vaccine, you should be able to get it. And they're like, no. You certain people have to wait this. So I don't know when I'm going to get it. So I don't have the vaccine. I also haven't gotten it. I've been really careful through the whole thing.
Good on you.
Basically following the rules and social distancing, and all that stuff, and wearing a mask when I need to. But outside, I don't do it. I mean, the homeless population in LA does not have COVID. Very few of them do. So what does that tell you? I don't think it's outside.
Yeah.
I think it's
interesting.
indoors. So that's going to make live shows even longer to come back. It'll be the last thing to come back.
I'm afraid so. Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll be down in New Zealand again sometime in the relative near future. In the meantime, I think our time is running out and you've probably got another interview to do. So I'll let you get to that. But thank you for spending time and talking to me. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we can sell some records.
I hope so. Tell all your friends to buy it.
Will do. That's the whole plan. All right. See you later.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.